The construction of a modern stadium has been announced for the northwest region of Cameroon. The announcement was made today by FECAFOOT's president Samuel Eto'o in the nation's capital. Thanks for joining us on the 6:15 newscast on Canal International. My name is Gladys Abo. Stay tuned for the headlines. The construction of a modern stadium in the northwest region has been announced.
One of the major prospects of Samuel Eto'o
today in the nation's capital, Yaoundé, by the president of the Cameroon Football Federation, Samuel Eto'o, during a press briefing to give a report of his activities for the past 6 months at the helm of the federation. And as Muslim faithful prepare the feast of the Tabaski, sheep vendors have decried a lack of sheep in the markets that has led to skyrocketing prices of the livestock. Details in this newscast. These small and medium-sized enterprises are showcasing their know-how at the Commonwealth Business Forum, with Cameroon's presence outstanding. Their appearance was outstanding at the stands of the National Shippers Council today. Details in the minutes ahead. Thanks for joining us once again for the 6:15 primetime newscast in the English language on Canal International. We begin with football. Today we're talking about the announcement of the construction of a modern stadium in the northwest region of Cameroon. The announcement was made today by FECAFOOT's president Samuel Eto'o during a press briefing in the nation's capital, Yaoundé, aimed at unveiling the report of his past 6 months' activities at the helm of FECAFOOT. The details with Hyacinthia from Yaoundé.
One of the major prospects of Samuel Eto'o as he continues work as FECAFOOT president is the construction of football infrastructure across the country. The first of the proximity stadia earmarked for the northwest region.
Le tout premier de ces stades sera construit dans la région meurtrie du Nord-Ouest.
For a region with 2 Elite 1 clubs, PWD of Bamenda and Young Sport Academy, Foncha Street and Bafut Rangers in Elite 2, as well as Division Sport in the Guinness Super League, sport journalists say the announcement is a sigh of relief for the teams who couldn't play at home because of the absence of a good pitch.
And I received it with joy because I know what this means for Northwesterner. I know what this means for football stakeholders in the region. I know what it means for us as sports journalists if this realization, if it's actually realized.
Before the sports journalists this June 27, as they round up a 3-day training workshop, Samuel Eto'o presented a 10-point brief report of his achievements within his 6-month stay in office, with a cap on the organization of the Elite 1 and 2 championships and the Female League, the battle to reconcile factions, the amelioration of players' conditions, establishing efficient partnership for the football structure, among others. These, the major men and women applaud as a move towards the right direction.
When you look at the 6-month stay in office, it looks like 6 years. In office, things have been going very, very fast, and I think it's a new deal with the stakeholders of football in Cameroon, and I think what has been realized so far is enormous, and what is to come, it's even greater.
The workshop, which brought about national and international experts, is in line with the vision of building a strong sport press in Cameroon, an initiative quite enriching.
What role the media could play in contributing towards the development of sports, and committing that whatever it is I was able to gain here, I'm going to do my part in contributing towards the development of football.
The battle to uplift the image of Cameroon football The FECA footballs underlines warrants the collective effort of all stakeholders.
Cameroon urgently needs an identity as a country and not by tribe. This was raised as a problematic by PhD holder Charles Ako as he defended his thesis at the University of Boya. Dr. Charles Ako has challenged Cameroonians who live in urban areas to get used to involve in areas considered not to be theirs. You have more with Morandi.
Through his research thesis titled Villages in the Metropolis, Urbanization, Identities and Inter-Community Relations in Douala, Cameroon, PhD researcher in the University of Boya, Charles Ako Ato says Cameroon needs a national identity as a nation and not by tribes in order to promote social cohesion in the country.
It falls within the context of the concept of living together, because for some time now Cameroon has become, has set a pace where people feel like they are not living together or are doing things their own way, in such a way that there's no consensus on very topical issues. And that's why the government is insisting on people living together to realize that even though they have different cultural and ethnic backgrounds, they are of one nation. So the notion of nation building comes in between.
And how the thesis will help government reshape its strategy on the current decentralization process.
Government should work, the notion of nation building should be on idealism and realism. We know that realism is that we are living in different cultural contexts. But then the idealism is that even though we are living in these different contexts, we are supposed to assume that we are one and solid.
Charles Ako Ato brilliantly defended his PhD thesis on June 27 to members of a jury chaired by Professor Joyce Indley. They questioned the language, methodology, and many more. A cross-examination that finally earned him a congratulatory message from the members of jury for research well coordinated. The more than 300 research work was supervised by Professor Emmanuel Yencho and co-supervised by Oben Timothy, Associate Professor. In all, Charles Ako challenged Cameroonians who live in urban areas to get involved with their areas of residence in the country.
And as we talk about Cameroon urgently needing an identity as a country and not as a tribe, youths in the country have been challenged to be at the center of peace promotion. The call was made by religious officials in the nation's capital, Yaoundé, at an inter-religious conference that took place in the nation's capital to promote or preach the message of peace and social cohesion. The religious officials insisted that peace remains one of the factors to promote love and living together. More with Umoko Somi.
The call for peace and unity. Sensitizing young Cameroonians on the importance of peace and unity is the main objective of this interreligious conference held in Yaoundé.
Les jeunes Camerounais sur l'importance du vivre ensemble. C'est également pour appeler les Camerounais de tous bords à se regarder comme des frères et comme des sœurs. C'est aussi pour interpeller nos confrères religieux à véhiculer dans leurs chapelles spirituelles respectives un message de la paix et du vivre ensemble.
These Muslim and Christian communities meeting in this conference underline that religion is one of the main measures of promoting living together.
Allah annonce dans le Saint-Coran, lui et ses anges mettent la paix sur le prophète Mohammed sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, parce que celui-ci a pris de ne faire durant sa vie sur terre que la volonté de Dieu et non la sienne. Allah dit, paix, miséricorde et bénédiction sur toi, ô mon prophète, esclave messager. Que cette paix s'étende sur sa famille bien guidée, les compagnons et sur tous ceux qui suivront ses pas jusqu'à la fin du temps.
Youth urged to be ambassadors of social cohesion and preach unity among their peers. The religious authorities equally called on parents and teachers to open their eyes and monitor the activities of youth and, of course, guide them towards their responsibilities.
And as Muslim faithful prepare the feast of Tabaski in the days ahead, sheep vendors have decried lack of sheep in the market that has led to skyrocketing prices of the livestock. You have more with Stephanie Chin.
Barely a fortnight to the celebration of the Feast of Tabaski, these sheep have been fed fat for the occasion. Speaking to some sheep vendors in Douala, they expressed frustration over the lack of customers. The sheep are not available like before and business is not booming. Business is slow and people are embezzling. It doesn't pay like before. Now there's no business. The one in the north is not like that of Douala. The lack of customers is as a result of high prices. The prices of these sheep vary. The largest are between 300 to 350,000 francs. The moderate are between 200 to 250,000 francs. The smaller ones are between 100 to 120,000 francs, while the smallest are between 60 to 70,000 francs. To this other vendor, he has had many customers because he sells at moderate prices. There are customers. We started yesterday and it progressed gradually. High cost of sheep in the market has been decried this 2022, unlike same period in 2021 when they were sold at affordable prices.
Let's talk about people living with disabilities that have showcased their talents alongside contemporary models in a meeting or during capital Douala. That was the 5th edition. The organizer, Tessa Beck, says Africulture seeks to advocate for social inclusion of people living with disabilities in
She is handicapped with just one arm, but she remains confident and hopeful for a bright future. The 5th edition of the Africulture Fashion Show, June 25, in Douala, persons with all forms of disability showcase a talent as they hit the runway in their finest designer dresses. Even artists or children were not left out of the fashion show. Organizers say the inclusion of persons with disabilities is a way of advocating for social inclusion and change of how people with disabilities are viewed and treated.
This 5th edition was very important because we had to make the people we considered handicapped show what they can. Their talent was really presented to the world, and we were able to see that Africans have to sell themselves to Africa.
Plus-size models also had their place at the fashion show. In their beautiful, designed swimming ways, they imposed themselves a way of telling society they are not complex. The fashion show also features a diverse class of models and finest designers from Chad, Côte d'Ivoire, and other African countries. This year's theme was highly applauded by the representative of the regional delegate of culture and other dignitaries who encouraged the organizers to keep pushing and exposing Cameroon and Africa's rich potentials to the rest of the world.
And let's talk economy. Cameroon's presence at the Commonwealth Business Forum was actually astounding, with The participation of over 50 small and medium-sized enterprises making their appearance at the stands of the National Shippers Council. Kejan Henry Temba says it was a good opportunity for the small and medium-sized enterprises to showcase their goods made in Cameroon. More in that report.
A myriad of Cameroonian flags were seen at the Commonwealth Business Forum, organized on the sidelines of the 26th Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in Kigali, Rwanda. To better coordinate the participation of Cameroon's delegation at this important event, the Vice Chair of MINREC's CNSC platform for the implementation and monitoring of strategic institutional partnership between the Cameroon National Shippers Council and the Commonwealth Enterprise and Investment Council was Auguste Mbappé Penda, who doubled as the General Manager of the Cameroon National Shippers Council.
Nous avons eu l'honneur de recevoir dans notre stand.
Participating at this event, we have been honored with visits from the President of the Republic of Rwanda, President Paul Kagame, Prince Charles of England, and Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. The Cameroon National Shippers Council was able to rally over 50 participants to this event, along with prominent business associations, such as the Cameroon Business Women's Group, here represented by its president, a good number of small and medium-sized enterprises that brought along some products made in Cameroon and which were amazingly enjoyed by the public here.
Apporté des produits et des produits camerounais qui ont vraiment été appréciés, qui ont connu un succès.
Thanks to the activities of the Cameroon National Shippers Council and the Commonwealth Enterprise and Investment Council, over 30 Cameroonian SMEs had the opportunity to attend this major business event.
Upon our return home, we shall reach out to participants to assess the number of business ties made, the nature of projects envisaged, and lastly, to see how the Cameroon National Shippers Council can assist them to make sure these projects come to fruition.
Participants will now have to capitalize on the different opportunities offered by the Commonwealth Business Forum held in Kigali, Rwanda.
It is with that report that we wrap up this edition of the Primetime Newscast in the English language on Canal International. The French edition will be yours at 7:50 p.m. with Emekati Mukuri. Up next is Debrief the Sport. I will be yours again same time tomorrow, God's willing. Bye-bye.